Hello, sisters. Okay, so that chapter was also extremely boring. Although the existentialism of the chapter before, by contrast, makes this chapter way less painful. I have never watched or read Streetcar Named Desire. What was the other? She mentioned the different Tennessee Williams, didn't she? She also talked about In the Rose Tattoo by Tennessee Williams. What was this one? Summer and Smoke. I think also Tennessee Williams. I don't know any Tennessee Williams. I know who he is, but I don't know. I just don't really care to know more about him. Okay, so I don't know. Again, honestly, let me look at the is the whole first section of this book. I feel like it's going to be section 2 and 3 that I actually like enjoy of this book, cuz it almost feels to me like the whole first section, the whole first 5 chapters of this book are almost like an introduction. It's like I get it. Did Williams piss Dworkin off or something? I mean, I don't know. I think that she really liked like literature. She read a lot of it. So there's a lot of chapters of different books where she like eviscerates male authors. Um, this whole section, these 5 chapters, repulsion, skinless, stigma, communion, possession, are like the preface or no, the epigraph that like sets them up is a Kafka epigraph. Um, Beyond a certain point, there is no return. This point has to be reached. I think that she's trying to like set up the context for the rest of the book with these 5 chapters. Um, and she's doing it by pointing out male written works about sexuality. Yeah, she's doing feminist analysis. But like this is extremely boring just cuz it's not what I expect from her honestly. Like she all like everything else I've read by her, the chapters are super long, unlike these which are pretty short chapters. The chapters are super long and there'll be like a couple of literary analysis and then it'll like she'll ground it in some kind of like philosophy or um like observation of society or the state of womanhood or something like that. And this she's not really doing that. She's like just giving us a literary analysis of some stuff. So the first chapter was about Tolstoy and how like the Queen of Lateness. No, Possible Person is good because this chapter was almost as bad as the last one. I mean, not as bad because it wasn't like existentialism, but it was almost as bad. Um, yeah. So the first chapter was about repulsion. It was about Tolstoy, about him being repulsed by the act of sex because he viewed it as like hurting a woman. But the problem wasn't that the woman was being hurt; it was that the woman would want revenge. The second chapter, Skinless, was this existentialist thing about like being absolutely vulnerable with someone and through that men having more power over them basically or being able to use them on like a deeper level or something like that. That's how I understood it. um this Stigma chapter is about like the marking um of a woman who wants sex. So this is a 3 Tennessee Williams plays. um I don't know. In like the opening where she talked about like the Greek and the Latin and like what does it mean in the like current context, what does stigma mean, I was like kind of excited and then it was like not great. Yeah, Useless Strawberry says the Tolstoy chapter I liked because I felt it had real world and real life implications. I agree. um I kind of thought that was putting us on like a solid footing to like get going with the book. I don't know. I understand like why she's doing it this way. I think that part of the problem is that I'm like already a radical feminist and I already have like a complex like understanding of the way that men see sex and stuff. Like, I'm not trying to say that it's not valuable what she's doing, but like I think if you're a woman who's never considered like the male perspective on like what sex with a woman is and like what a man wants from it and like what the expectations are and like how you're supposed to like come together with different expectations and like all of this. Like if you're a woman who's never thought about that stuff, I think that these chapters would be like, you know, they would help you to like have a clear grounding of what she's getting at before she really gets going with the book. But I'm not one of those women. Like I've been thinking about this shit for like 8 years. So honestly, I don't have much to say about this chapter. I do think it's kind of funny though how where's the last I didn't realize a streetcar named Desire had a rape in it. Holy shit, man. Like honestly, because I assume that the next 2 chapters of this section of the book are also going to be very boring. I kind of want to just power through them. Oh yeah, by the way, today I have a computer and a good microphone. But when I first started, I didn't realize there was like 3 camera options, and I used like a virtual camera that wasn't turned on. So, you know, yeah, I really want to power through these. What time is it? I kind of want to read the next 2 today. How many pages are they? Let's look at this. 50 to 60. Okay, that's 10 pages. The next one. Well, I mean, on this, my big iPad is 10 pages. And then 60 to 72, and then 10 pages again. Okay. Hey, Lisa. We will survive. I am ready. Okay. Yeah, so I don't really know what to discuss about this. Do you guys have any thoughts or feelings about this? Um, really, the only thing I have to say about this, because like it's just like her analysis of a specific play. Oh, thanks, Lisa. Yo, guys, you want to see my books? Here, guys. I bought books. So this is a classic that I've always wanted, but I've never found a real paper copy of it. Against Our Will, Men, Women, and Rape by Susan Brown Miller. It's like a very used copy. I think this is like a second edition or something, like it's quite old. This is printed in 1975. It's quite old. This, which I found, which I've never heard of this book before. Well, like I kind of heard of it, but I didn't like know of the book specifically. Well-loved copy. I know exactly. Use the strawberry. This book is like almost in mint condition. Like there's no like, it's very good condition. Femininity by Susan Brown Miller. I found it and I literally sat down and started reading it the moment I found it. Like I bought it and I went and sat outside under a tree and started reading it. I know. And I got this for like $3 or something. And then this, I heard of this book. Well, not this book. This is like a recent like edition of it. But this Jeb, it's like, what's her name? Joan E. Byron. This is like a series of photographs of lesbians from the 1970s, 1971. I think it has a foreword by Alison Bechtel. But yeah, this is like in plastic. I'm not going to open it until I get home. There was a copy without plastic that I looked through it. Rachel bought this for me. Yeah, so I got some cool books. I also got Rachel a book. I'm Not Mad, I'm Angry. Women Look at Psychiatry by Dorothy E. Smith and Sarah J. David. It's out of print by Press Gang. I don't know if you know who that is. Is that upside down? Press Gang. They're like a radical feminist publisher. This is from 1975 from Vancouver. So, yeah. There's like a lot of like huge used bookstores in Seattle. Like, holy shit. Like, I know it's a big city, so that makes sense. But like, I didn't really come prepared to buy books. Like, I should have left more. That's why I've only bought these tiny ones early. And like, this one fits in like the part where my iPad goes in my backpack. Yeah, so that's been cool. There's one more big bookstore that when I bought the Susan Brown Miller books, at this one bookshop. If you look in my like community tab on my channel right now, I've listed 2 bookshops in Seattle that have some good books that I didn't buy because they were like too big or too expensive. Um yeah, but yeah, Lisa says I hope this Roe ruling gets more women interested in real feminism. Yeah, I agree. Um but yeah, oh fuck, I can't remember the name of the other bookshop. But I was at Twice Sold Tales in Capitol Hill, Seattle, and I bought the Susan Brown Miller books and the psychiatry book. And the woman who was checking me out, she's the owner, and she was like, "Oh, these are like interesting picks or something like that." And I was like, "I love books from the 70s and the 80s. Like that's the feminist books that I want to find." And she was like, "Oh, you should go to this other bookshop." And she wrote it down. And she was like, "This bookshop will have a lot of that stuff." So if I do end up buying a lot of it, I might just like mail it to myself. I don't know. Or like, I don't know, give away some of my clothes and like stuff my suitcase with it or something. Um, yeah, just because I don't know, when you find like out of print stuff or like stuff that's hard to get paper copies of these days for like $3, how can you not buy it? Um, but yeah, I was really surprised by that. The woman in the bookshop being like, "That's good that you like the old books from that era. I will help you find more." That was nice. Okay, yeah. So more books. I think I might. Guys, this is like such a seminal work. Should we read this on the channel? Like, let me know. I was thinking that the next book we need to read should be Lesbian Ethics. Um, Also, okay, I'm looking for someone to do something for me. Are you coming to MFR? Because I would like to order a bunch of books from this like virtual used bookstore, and the shipping within the US is like $2 a book, and the shipping to Canada is like $40 a book. So I would like to ship them to someone who's coming to MFR, and then they can like drive them in their car to me, and I will pay you something for that because like just literally I want like I want like 3 books. And like with shipping, it's like $120. And if I ship them to the US, it's like $35. So I need to find this woman and send the books to her and have them bring the books to me. Um, okay, I think I'll do Against Our Will, but I do want to do something like lesbian before that. Because remember initially I was like, we're gonna alternate like something lesbian, something rad from something lesbian. Um, Jean Keel. Okay, Lisa, thank you. Yeah, just when I was a kid, my dad used to have a friend who lived like in Buffalo that we would like mail stuff, ship American stuff to him. Um, and Nancy Diaz, where are you? Are you Latin America? And then we would like drive across the border from Canada into Buffalo and like get stuff from him because the shipping was so cheap within America. Um, yeah. Oh, Mexico. Hola. ¿Cómo está, hermosa? I don't understand Spanish, but I understand enough Spanish that when I'm in like non-tourist parts of Mexico and they're shit talking me, I know what they're saying. I live with like a bunch of Mexicans, so they're always speaking Spanish. So my Mexican is like, I understand it pretty decently. I just can't really speak it very well. Okay, enough chit chatting. Right. Okay, I did have one analysis of this before we go. Where is it? The last page. Okay, so remember in the anti-feminism chapter of Right-Wing Women, Dworkin talks about like the 3 different like schools of anti-feminism, and within the like female dominant school, she had like the 2 subtypes. There was like the moral superiority type where it's like women are too pure to like be expected to do anything or think for themselves because like they're like untouchable or whatever. And then she had the other type, which was like the fact that men want women, men see that as women having power over men. Just because I want you and can't like immediately have you, that means you have power over me. um and so the last paragraph of this chapter, um I'm just going to read the paragraph. Having an interior life of wanting, needing, gives fucking human meaning in a human context. Quote unquote, all my life, Williams wrote, quote, I have been haunted by the obsession that to desire a thing or to love a thing intensely is to place yourself in a vulnerable position, to be a possible, if not probable, loser of what you want most, end quote. Okay, well, I'm not going to read the rest of it, but that phrase specifically made me think of that whole, like, the female superior model of anti-feminism, like, oh, because I want her and can't have her, she has power over me, like, poor me, because this woman just exists in the world, and I observed her, and I'm like, I feel like conceit or something because she makes me feel feelings. Like, just very stupid bullshit. Okay. But that's what I think that's why, like, that's the point of the chapter, right? Is to point out this, like, power crap of men. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to start the next chapter. See you in like 3 seconds. Okay, bye.